For one reason, because there is great barakah when a family comes together. There's great barakah in the family unit. Allah has created it like that. This is why Ahlul Bayt is emphasized so much. Rasulullah emphasizes his family because he's giving you a sunnah. The family is that each one of you need to have your nucleus as a family as well and keep it together. It shouldn't be divided. Now look, let's take it a step further. What else does it say? It says that there will be many people who will be cutting ties of the womb with their relatives. Brothers will not speak to sisters. Sisters will not speak to brothers. Uncles will not speak to, and etc. You know what that means. But you know what the punishment for that is? Hadith says, we will diminish their life. We will I've seen with my own eyes 7 brothers who were fighting. Two of them weren't. 7 of them were. I think there were 9 brothers in total. All 7 of them are dead before their 60th birthday, and the 2 who weren't fighting are in their 80s now. Why is that? Because there are categories where Allah decreases your life. If you disrespect your parents and you break off from your parents, or if your parents disown you or you break off from them and they're not happy, Allah decreases your life immediately. Let me give you an example. Mutawakkil Abbasi was a mal'oon. He demolished the grave of Imam Hussein at least 7 or 8 times. The famous tradition says that he said that, look, we want to burn the grave of Imam Hussein, we want to take his body out and burn it. So he knew no Muslim was going to do it. So he went to a Christian. He says, it doesn't mean anything to you, why don't you go underground and burn it? They say that when he went underground, he came out crying. He says, what are you doing? Who you asked me to burn? Whose grave? One time he asked people to deflect the river Euphrates so that it can go over the body of Imam, over the grave. In the tradition it says it came in a split. Even water, remember, Furat is the water of Wilayah. You find that the Umayyads live more around the Dajla, traditionally, in the Hadith it says. The water is salty. Furat's water is sweet. This is why it's mustahab. After Abbas looked at the water, it became mustahab for every child when they're born to have a little bit of Furat. This is why when a child is born, you take a drop and you put it in the child's mouth. Because Furat is the river of Wilayah. Right? So Furat is not going to do anything which is against Sahib Amr. So anyhow, that Mutawakkil one day does something, and I can't even say it on the minbar. He insults the mother of Hussein. So when he does that, his son can't take it. His son comes to the 10th Imam. He says, is my father wajib al-qatl? He says, yes. He says, can I kill him? He says, no. You can't kill him. He says, why? He says, because you're a son. If I kill my father, is there going to be a sin on me? He says, no. But Allah has created a nizam. If you violate that nizam, Allah will decrease your life. He went and killed his father. Within 60 or 70 days, he died as well. Why? There's a nizam which has been created. So therefore, be very vigilant how you talk to your parents. Because remember one thing, even after their death, they can disown you. A Shia is a person who does what? Who's very cautious when it comes to observation of relations. This entire Karbala is a movement of relationships. In the most severe moments, you don't see the akhlaq of Ali Akbar move. Look, how many people, when they get stressed out, they say to their fathers, Dad, just leave me alone. I've had a busy day. What are you talking about? What have you done? What have you done? You brought bala onto you. You don't realize, but in ways you've done that. I'll give you another example. They said that one man went to Ayatollah Nukudik Isfahani. He says, oh, I need a dhikr. I'm poor. Nukudik, he gave him something. For the first time it didn't work. He went elsewhere, it didn't work. He went to another guy, it didn't work. Finally, he comes to the sahn of the 8th Imam, Imam al-Rida, alayhi salam. And there was a man sitting there. The man looks up and says, what's the problem? He says, I've done everything. Rizq isn't coming to me. He says, come here. He says, have you got the haqq of anyone on your shoulders? On your neck? He says, not that I remember. He says, have you cut your relationships with your family? He says, no. He says, is your mother happy with you? He looked and he said, I think she should be, and then he remembered. He said, no, there was an incident that took place. He said, what's that incident? He said, the incident was this. One day, my wife and my mother were having an argument. My wife and my mother were having an argument. I knew my mother was wrong. So I said to my mother, you're wrong. Instantly I realized my mother's got offended. I apologized to her there, but it seems like she's kept it in her heart. The lesson was this, listen. When two people that you have rights, or have rights over you, your wife has a right, your mother has a right. Don't ever interfere in the discussion. In that circumstance, if you're gonna say to somebody one is wrong or the other, take him to the side, take him to the corner, take him in private. Because every human being has an ego. That mother felt insulted. This Arif says, now go to your mother and apologize to her properly. He said, but she was wrong. He says, she may be wrong, but she's your mother, she got offended. You should never ever say something in front of somebody. If they're wrong, let it go, but later on explain to them, listen, mum, you were wrong, or wife, or father, or husband, whatever it may be. He went to his mother, kissed her on the hands, kissed her on the feet, says, mother, forgive me. She says, now I forgive you. Son, you insulted me in front of your wife. That pain remained in my heart. When that mother forgave him, the rizq started to come. Alright, remember this. So this is why I'm saying, you've got relationship which you have to observe, uphold. The smallest thing. And it doesn't matter whether your mother's a Muslim, non-Muslimah, whatever it is. The fact is you've got relationship that you've got to uphold. You can't turn around and say, oh no, but she doesn't follow my faith. It's not the case. This world is a world of cause and effect. What you get, what you put in, what you're going to get back. I'll give you another example, right? Now that we're on this discussion.